Hey guys, this is Dr. Anna, and I'm here to continue with the origin and interpretation of sedimentary rock. This is our second segment. I stopped at the tropical desert, so the next one is the savanna. I have a long movie here, so I'm gonna play it for you.
A savanna, also called a tropical grassland, is a large open area covered in grasses and shrubs, but not many trees. On this virtual field trip, we're off to the most famous of all savannas, the tropical savanna of Africa. Stretching through central and southern Africa, this is the biggest savanna on Earth. In a savanna, the weather is warm all year round and there's lots of sunlight. The amount of water in a savanna changes throughout the year. A lot of rain falls in the wet season, followed by long periods with little or no rain at all. The plants and animals in a savanna have adaptations to survive these long dry periods. Despite being dry for much of the year, the African savanna is bursting with life. A great diversity of grasses cover the open plains. There are many bushes and shrubs and sparsely scattered trees too. The African savanna is famous for its diversity of animals. From tiny termites, beetles and butterflies to many of Earth's animal giants. Many of the animals in an African savanna are herbivores. This means they feed on plants. There's giraffes, zebras, gazelles, rhinoceroses, and elephants. Feeding on these herbivores are some of the world's best-known predators. There's big cats like lions, cheetahs, and leopards. There's jackals, wild dogs and hyenas too. Like in all habitats around our amazing planet, the plants and animals live together in a complex relationship and are all connected in the great circle of life.
Savanna climate is also called grassland. We have enough moisture, just like you saw it in the movie, for grass and scattered trees, but not enough for dense forests, similar to what we have in the US at the Great Plain. Savanna is famous, as you could hear, about the large amount of relatively large animals, bisons, antelopes, zebras, elephants. We have a lot of physical and chemical weathering. Very well developed soil is characteristic. Why? Because as you could see, we have rainy season, dry season, so you could have physical and chemical weathering both. I also have a couple of pictures of the animals and how the whole area looks like. The next one is the Mediterranean climate, north and south. So on the south, it's really close to the polar region, basically. You can see it like southern Australia, southern Africa, Chile, and then around San Francisco and California, and here around the Mediterranean Sea. I also have a little movie about this.
Unveiling the secrets of the Mediterranean climate. So, what exactly makes the Mediterranean climate so special? Well, for starters, it's the only climate on Earth that experiences dry summers and wet winters. That's right, while most climates have their rainfall peak during the hottest months, the Mediterranean climate flips the script. The Mediterranean climate is also known for its comfortable temperatures. Imagine basking in the warmth of summers that range from a pleasant 20 to 35 degrees Celsius, and then cozying up in mild winters with temperatures between 5 and 20 degrees. It's like having the best of both worlds. The science behind the climate. Now, you might be wondering, how does this peculiar climate pattern come about? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a quick science lesson. It all boils down to the Earth's tilt and the movement of air masses. You see, as the Earth tilts on its axis throughout the year, the convergence of trade winds in the tropics, known as the doldrums, shifts north and south. This movement affects the position of high-pressure systems, which in turn influences the Mediterranean climate. During the summer, the high-pressure band is pushed further away from the equator, bringing dry and stable conditions to the Mediterranean regions. But as winter rolls around, the doldrums retreat, allowing unstable air and oceanic westerly winds to swoop in, delivering much-needed rainfall. A global phenomenon. The Mediterranean climate isn't confined to just one location. It's like a globetrotter, popping up on every inhabited continent except Asia. From the iconic Mediterranean Sea itself to the sun-soaked coastlines of California, the rugged landscapes of Chile, the stunning vistas of South Africa, and the laid-back charm of Australia, this climate has left its mark all around the world. Each region adds its own unique flavor to the Mediterranean mix. In Europe, you'll find yourself in the heart of ancient civilizations, where history and culture intertwine with the climate. Venture to North America, and you'll discover the diverse beauty of the West Coast, from the lush forests of the Pacific Northwest to the golden hills of Southern California. The flora and fauna. But the Mediterranean climate isn't just about picturesque landscapes and comfortable temperatures. It's also a haven for a wide array of plants and animals that have adapted to thrive in this distinct environment. Picture this, shrublands dotted with hardy, drought-resistant plants, their leaves coated in a waxy layer to retain moisture during the hot summer months. In the cooler and wetter areas, you'll find towering forests, including the awe-inspiring sequoias of California, the tallest trees on Earth. And let's not forget about the iconic Mediterranean crops, grapes and olives. These beloved fruits have been cultivated in the region for centuries, giving rise to the world-renowned wine and olive oil industries. From the rolling vineyards of Tuscany to the sun-drenched olive groves of Greece, the Mediterranean climate has left an indelible mark on our culinary heritage. The human connection. But the Mediterranean climate's influence extends far beyond the natural world. It has shaped human civilization in profound ways, from ancient times to the present day. The Mediterranean Sea itself has been a cradle of human history, witnessing the rise and fall of empires, the birth of great philosophers and artists, and the exchange of ideas and cultures across continents. Today, it remains one of the world's most popular tourist destinations, drawing millions of visitors each year with its irresistible blend of natural beauty, rich history, and vibrant culture. And let's not forget about the impact of the Mediterranean climate on the entertainment industry. Hollywood, the global epicenter of movie making, owes much of its success to the reliable sunshine and minimal rainfall of Southern California. In the early days of film production, when natural light was essential, the Mediterranean climate provided the perfect conditions for shooting movies year-round. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the magnificent Mediterranean climate. From its unique weather patterns to its global reach, from its lush landscapes to its profound influence on human civilization, this climate is truly one of a kind.
What is characteristic for the Mediterranean climate? We have dry summer and wet winter. They mostly lie about 40 degrees from the equator. Like best example, as you just heard, California and the Mediterranean Sea. In these areas, chaparral vegetation is common, which consists of different plants, and they have waxy leaves that retain water during the dry summer. Lots of animals are present, and you heard in the movie, it's an amazing place to be. Next one is the temperate forest, which is above the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea right here, and the temperate forest is above it. And we in Virginia are also living in temperate forest. There is a little movie about it right here.
Giant redwoods, cute squirrels, huge grizzlies, and fierce night owls. Let's take a look at a temperate forest ecosystem. Temperate forests are ecosystems with enough rainfall and sunlight for tall trees to grow. Reaching high above the rich soil they grow in are oak trees, maples, elms, and birches, to name just a few. The types of trees depends largely on the region too. In North American temperate forests, you'll also find conifers like pines and hemlocks. Australian temperate forests are dominated by eucalyptus trees. We call them gum trees over here. Not sure why. I'll have to look into that. Below the towering trees is a diverse layer of grasses, shrubs, ferns, and mosses. A variety of mushrooms and other fungi like puffballs and bracket fungi can be found growing in the soil or attached to fallen tree trunks. Fungi play an important role in breaking down plant and animal matter, which recycles vital nutrients back into the soil. The thick vegetation provides homes for a variety of animal populations, particularly mammals. We're talking bears, deers, porcupines, rabbits, squirrels, and big cats like cougars and bobcats. Tall trees with hollow trunks means plenty of space for birds to raise their young. There's owls, woodpeckers, robins, and jays. Hawks and eagles too. The forest floor provides an ideal environment for a range of snakes and lizards, and a huge diversity of insects, spiders, and other creepy crawlies. You'll also find animals like earthworms, slugs, and snails hiding amongst the leaf litter or under rocks and logs. Temperate forests usually have 4 distinct seasons: summer, fall, winter, and spring. The changes in weather from season to season affect the organisms in the ecosystem. In fall, the weather begins to cool. To conserve energy, the leaves of some trees change colour then fall to the ground. The leaves grow back when the weather warms as spring approaches. During winter, some animals have to leave the ecosystem and return in the spring. Ah yes, about those gum trees. They're called gum trees because of the thick sap that oozes from the trunk when they get damaged.
So, the temperate forest. As you just heard, among some pine trees, the temperate forest characterized by maple and oak trees. The ground animals are very diverse in these forests, and the birds are especially well preserved. They do have very well developed soil zones because you heard the 4th season, and so we have chemical and physical weathering present as well. So the soil is very characteristically good. And now we are at the evergreen forest, which is north of the temperate forest. And in the south, we don't have those anymore. But in the north, we got a bunch of those. The evergreen forest, they are located north of the temperate forest, as I just said. Mostly pine trees. In this zone, the summers are very short. The soil under the pine trees are always acidic, but we still have a lot of chemical and physical weathering, so the soil quality is really good. And now we're at the tundra. And as you can see, the tundra is north of the evergreen forest. It's almost at the polar region.
A barren land of ice, lake, swamp, and grass is the tundra. The Sami word for treeless uplands is devoid of trees and is a bleak land consisting only of dwarf shrubs, hardy grasses, mosses, and lichen. The reason that trees cannot grow here is simple. It's just too cold. And by this, specifically, we mean that summer temperatures must be above 10 degrees Celsius for at least 1 month in summer in order for trees to complete their necessary seasonal cycles. But for anything to grow at all, temperatures must be above freezing. And these 2 temperature points give us the climatic definition of the tundra. Summer temperatures must be between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius. Interestingly, winter temperatures are not as extreme as some of those found in the subarctic regions of northeastern Siberia. This is because the tundra areas are never that far from the coasts of the Arctic Ocean, and so are moderated somewhat, even though this ocean is ice-covered for half a year or more. Average temperatures in the tundra, like in the subarctic, are cold enough to produce a layer of permanently frozen soil throughout the year, known as permafrost. This is another factor limiting the growth of more substantial plants, which would otherwise demand deeper root structures. The tundra is very low in precipitation, comparable to desert and semi-arid regions closer to the equator. But because of the low evaporation rates from such low temperatures and the barrier of the permafrost preventing proper drainage, water hangs around.
The layer of the soil beneath is frozen even during the summer. In this condition, we don't have that much water, but what we do have is going to be on top, so that's why we have so many swamp in the tundra. The plants are low and they do not need too much water. Mosses, sedges, lichens, and low-growing trees. It is characteristic in North America and Eurasia, and they usually have very low diversity of animal and other life. Very little physical and chemical weathering, and the soil is very poorly developed, mostly from grass. And also, you cannot really have big plant growing because the whole growing season is 2 months long. So there is no basically time to grow anything. And the very last one is the polar region. And the polar region is really at the poles. North America, above North America, the Greenland is a very characteristic place, top of Siberia and Antarctica.
What is the polar climate? The polar climate is a type of climate that usually presents temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius. The average annual temperature does not exceed 10 degrees Celsius and extends in the areas of the latitudes near the North and South Poles, and of the high mountain peaks, such as the Himalayas and the Andes. The regions with polar climates cover 20% of the Earth's surface. The development of life in the polar climate regions is complex due to the extreme cold, both on land and in the water, which is why various animals have adapted to survive. The North Pole is a little warmer than Antarctica due to how the sun's rays hit that area due to the tilt of the Earth's axis. For humans, the conditions in these regions are inhospitable, although, from time to time, military expeditions and research projects are carried out in some areas, such as the Russian base Vostok in Antarctica. Some regions of the North Pole are more inhabited by humans. Characteristics of the polar climate. The polar climate does not present atmospheric humidity. The polar climate is characterized by being the coldest climate on the planet, with temperatures ranging between 8 degrees C and 9 degrees C. The maximum cold recorded was -89 degrees C in Antarctica. Extend in the regions of the poles, north and south, and in the highest mountain peaks. Have 2 different seasons of the year, one more extensive and extremely cold, and another warmer and shorter that does not exceed 10 degrees C. Present little or no annual rainfall, around 300 mm that falls in solid form Oregon snow. Present very little or no atmospheric humidity. Present strong winds called snowfall or blizzards that, on several occasions, appear together with wind and snowstorms. Have little fauna and flora.
As you could hear, there is a big contrast from rainforest savanna. Today we have 2 ice caps, one in Antarctica and the other one is in Greenland. Of course, if you think about the altitude, as you go high, you're going to go through the exact same climate zones. And on top, like in the Himalayas and other really tall mountains, you're going to have ice and cold, just like it would be at the Antarctica and the North Pole. The life on the ice caps are very scattered. Almost no plants and just a few animals can survive the very cold climate here. Therefore, we have no weathering and no soil. I guess, guys, we're going to finish here and we will continue in the next segment. I will see you there.